of space, and for many years, because Australia has been one of the first countries to have telecommunication by satellite. And now I think that Australia is entering into a new era, because beside all what is done for commercial telecommunications, there are some organizations in Australia thinking about the future, thinking about the space industry, space developments, and I am sure that with the International Astronautical Congress, which will take place in Adelaide this fall, this will increase this interest of Australia for space.
And of course, we're not necessarily talking about shooting rockets into the sky from Australia, but where do you think our potential lies? What fields can we help with, and what technologies?
Today we are working with CSRO, and in CSRO there are a number of very talented scientists and engineers, very skilled in space business. And we see that the Australian government thinks about the future, the way to structure this space business, this space developments, and I am sure that Australia will enter into the new space era, because Australia has a lot of potentialities for that.
How would you describe where the sector is now in 2017, and what are the most interesting areas of development?
Today we see Australia thinking about research and development, and in particular about all what is related to Internet of Things, because Australia is a huge territory, and it is clear that satellites can bring a lot of benefits. You don't have to install terrestrial networks and so on. And today what is at stake for space, these are 2 points: to connect people and to observe the countries, because when you speak about Internet of Things, about driverless car, you need of course to be permanently connected and to have a map in quasi real time. And for these 2 applications, satellites are very, very useful, and people from the internet are very interested in satellites.
And is that what brings you here today? Is that why you're here visiting?
Here today, in fact, I am here for 2 reasons. The first one is that within the frame of the agreement I signed with CSRO on July of last year, CNES launches stratospheric balloons for scientific experiments from Alice Springs, and I went to visit my team. I have more than 30 people in Alice Springs launching balloons for astronomy and different technology experiments. And in the same time, I am here also because in my function of President of the International Astronautical Federation, we are preparing very strongly the International Astronautical Congress, which will take place in Adelaide at the end of September, and I reviewed that everything is going well, which is the case.
Do you think that Australia needs a recognised Australian Space Agency?
This is a decision to be taken by the Australian government, but it is clear that a space agency is a good way to structure the work which could be done at the level of government in favor of space, and it also perhaps attracts talented young people. And it is why when you have a space agency in a country which wants to deal with space, it's very helpful. So after that, future will tell if Australia will have a space agency.
Do you think it would be to their benefit, to Australia's benefit, if there was one?
I see that in other countries, when you want to be present in space, creating a space agency is a plus.
What's your message to the Science Minister, who's currently looking at the space agency and space programs that could happen in Australia?
2 messages perhaps. The first one is that space is very important, and space is probably a very good way to invest in the future, because as I said, it is directly related to Internet of Things, which is the future for everyone. This is the first message. And the second one is probably also international cooperation, because if you want to invest in space, quite often costs are high, and international cooperation allows to share the cost, but also, of course, to share the benefits. And these are the two recommendations that I can make to have Australia very prominent in space.
And you're meeting with the Premier here in Adelaide, South Australia tomorrow, Jay Weatherall. The government in this state at least is quite excited about space. What are you looking forward to speaking to him about?
I will see what we will discuss, but it is clear that I will speak about my personal experience in the field of space, and I will congratulate him and all the team, Australia team, for the excellent preparation of the International Astronomical Congress.
And look, just finally, you did mention this before, but just to clarify again, there's been some work in the field of nano technology and nano satellites, for example, in Australia. I mean, given that we don't have the capability of doing the large scale projects like we see elsewhere, do you think that nanotechnology and the cheaper technology, is that where our strengths could lie in Australia?
Yes, because what we see everywhere in the world is that people we used to develop big satellites are now investing in micro and nano satellites, because the progress of the miniaturization is very, very impressive. 10 years ago, when you wanted to have a picture of your family, you had a camera with a very big lens. Today you have your iPhone, and in your iPhone the webcam which is active is the size of an eye. And it's the same for satellites, and we don't need huge satellites as it was the case in the past, but small satellites are very smart, and I'm sure that investing in small and smart satellites is the best way to prepare the future.
Wonderful. Happy with that?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.